Well, hi, friends. It's Wednesday. Today is the weekday word for Wednesday. I'm bringing that to you today. In case you stumbled upon this video and you have no idea how you got here, and so you don't know who I am or who we are, or maybe someone shared the video with you, shared the info with you. I want to tell you I'm Kathi Bush. It's my great honor and privilege to be lead pastor of River Cross Fellowship in Newcastle, Delaware. And maybe you can hear that lawnmower in the back. I've got my windows open. It's a beautiful day. So thanks for joining me today. You know, like all pastors and churches, River Cross, we've been trying to make the best of these coronavirus times with things like this. Weekday words, several times a week, online gatherings on Sunday, life groups throughout the week, meeting via Zoom. It's not perfect. It's what we have right now. But we're just trying to keep people connected, right? Connected to each other. That's what the church is. We're a community. We're a community. We're not just a purveyor of religious goods. We're a community. So we've been trying to keep people connected to God, obviously, and also to each other. So we'd love to know you're here. If you just say hi or drop a comment in the chat so that we know you're here, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching later, it's nice to know that you've been here, and we hope that you find this to be helpful and a good use of your time. We're actually really honored that you would spend some time with us. I see Mary. Hi, Mary. How are you today? Anyway, you know, with the whole coronavirus thing, you've noticed, no doubt, you've been hearing all the news, right? Things are starting to open back up. And our lead team is discussing right now, you know, how and when to begin having in-person gatherings again, you know, and all that that entails. It's pretty complex. There's a lot of moving parts. It's more than just opening up the doors and deciding to have a gathering on Sunday. If you haven't taken our survey about that, our relaunch survey yet, please do. There's a link to it on Facebook if you scroll back. Also on our website, you can find that. And I think in a recent e-news, we had the link as well. Anyway, you know, there's lots of different opinions out there. I know some of you just are ready to jump right back in. You're done with all this quarantine, with all this social distancing stuff. You just want to jump right back in. Others are more cautious and want to move slowly, some very slowly. And then there's people all along that spectrum, right? There's still a lot of anxiety out there, right? Mask or no mask. It's not really an option for us in Delaware, right? We are required to wear masks in public. To gather or not to gather. Do you keep social distancing or not? All those things. Some of you are anxious to protect others in your home, maybe who are compromised, or maybe you're concerned about protecting yourself. You know, we've also been warned that as unemployment continues to rise or just goes on longer, suicide and depression will also rise. I just heard some statistics about that yesterday. But there's other things to be anxious about, right? The coronavirus isn't the only thing causing anxiety these days. Some of you are just dealing with serious health problems, or you're having tests or awaiting the results of tests. And so you're dealing with that. Maybe you have family issues that were predate coronavirus and are still ongoing, or maybe things have developed during the coronavirus times. Even those of you who are become your kids' teachers, you're doing school at home and having to manage all of that. It's a lot. You're wondering about your finances or your job, all of those things. There's lots of things, even though we seem to be coming out of it, there's lots of things still to cause angst and anxiety, I think, today, right? So in my reading this week, I was reminded of a verse that I've known and studied and memorized at some point, but wonderful words from the prophet Isaiah. And these are from Isaiah 26:3. I'm not as fancy with the technology as Jessica is, so I don't know how to put the words on the screen here for you in Facebook Live, but so somebody should write this down. Isaiah 26:3. The New Living Translation says this. I love this. You will keep, you God, you will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, whose thoughts are fixed on you. Man, that That is a powerhouse of a verse right there. And if you don't already know that verse, if you don't already have it memorized, I recommend that you do so. So first of all, let me say this. The writer Isaiah says to God, you will keep in perfect peace, perfect peace. And the word, of course, in the Hebrew is that beautiful Hebrew word, shalom. And shalom means so much more than just peace, as in the absence of conflict. Like you're not arguing with your spouse, you're not fighting with your kids, or whatever it might be. Shalom is so much more than that. It's wholeness and a complete sense of well-being and safety, security, health of every kind, all kinds of health. And so Isaiah says, you, God will keep in perfect peace. In other words, you will guard, you will watch over, you will keep close to you in perfect peace, in well-being, in wholeness and health. Not everybody, but those who do two things. Okay, these two things are so key. First of all, you will keep in perfect peace those who trust in you. Okay, that's the first thing Isaiah says. Listen, the longer I live this life with Jesus, the more I read the scripture, the more I understand and believe that it really comes down to trusting God. It's all about trusting God, okay? I talked about this in another weekday word just recently, right? That word to trust means to rely on, to have confidence in, to feel secure in God, to trust in who he is, to rely on what he does and be confident, to have confidence in how he does it, right? The word actually also means to be carefree, okay? Not careless, okay? It means to be careless, but not careless like in uncaring or just kind of like whatever, cavalier. It means careless as in carefree, okay? It means you don't have a care in the world because you trust in God and you're letting him handle everything you care about. So that's the first thing. You keep in perfect peace those who trust in you, those whose thoughts are fixed on you. That's what Isaiah says. And he's talking to God, right? People who your thoughts are fixed on God. So here's the question. Let me ask you this question. Where do you fix your thoughts? Okay, what do you think about? What do you focus your mind on? I'm not talking about passing thoughts, things that just kind of come into your mind and flow through whatever. I mean, what do you fix your mind on? Okay, what do you focus your mind on? And listen, this is a very important question because it will make a huge difference in your level of peace, in your level of well-being and sense of wholeness and health and security. Okay, shalom. Now, maybe you didn't even know you could fix your thoughts, right? Maybe you think you're just kind of stuck with whatever comes into your head, like whatever you think about just kind of comes there, can't really control that. You're not just stuck with that. You're not just stuck with wherever your mind goes. You can control it. You can choose where to fix your thoughts. In fact, if you don't already know that, that's something you really need to learn about. Because see, peace, this sense of well-being and wholeness, it's not something that just either it just comes over you or it doesn't. Like, some people are lucky that way and others aren't. You can decide what to think about. You can make up your mind, to focus your mind, to fix your thoughts on that which brings peace rather than anxiety. Okay? That which brings shalom, right? Well-being, wholeness, health, security. And the key is to focus your thoughts, to fix your thoughts, not on what brings peace, but on who is the source of peace, because he is the Prince of Peace, right? Isaiah is the one who told us that originally, in fact. So one of the best prayers you can pray, I think I talked about this last week. One of the best prayers you can pray is this: help me to trust you, Lord. No matter what it is that's going on in your life, no matter how bad it looks, no matter how afraid you are, no matter how anxious, help me to trust you, Lord. You know, I'm telling you, just praying this repeatedly to yourself or even out loud to the Lord will help you. And here's how: it will shift your focus and it will focus your thoughts on the Lord who loves you. He's more than the Lord who loves you. He's the Lord who created the sun and hung the moon and calls each of the stars by name. Now, of course, you have to know and believe these things about God in order to trust him, right? Who he is, what he does, how he does what he does. You have to know them and you have to trust them and you have to know and believe that they're true and that they're true for you, not just other people. They're true for you. So instead of filling your mind or just allowing your mind, sometimes we don't do it on purpose, but we just kind of open the gates and we allow stuff to come into our minds. Instead of allowing anxiety and worrying about what might happen or not happen, instead of doing that, fix your thoughts on who God is, okay? Fix your thoughts on what he has done for you, what you know he has done for you in the past, how he has protected you, how he has guided you, how he has rescued you and saved you even, right? See, you got to make up your mind to do this. You got to make up your mind that you're going to trust God more than you're going to trust how things look to you, more than you're going to trust your circumstances. Because listen, you will not drift into this kind of trust. You won't. It won't just happen to you. It doesn't just come. It's not like some people this just happens to. No, you make a decision. If you are not experiencing peace, let alone perfect peace, okay, ask yourself this: who or what am I trusting? Really? Okay? Now, sometimes I think we fool ourselves. We kind of lie to ourselves and we say, oh, I trust God. I trust God. I do. Or even, I've heard people say this: I trust God, but, and then, fill in the blank. Have you ever heard me talk about but, the but as a big eraser? I got one of these pink erasers in my drawer. You know, these when you use the word but, whatever comes before the word but gets erased. The word but is an eraser. So if you say, I trust God, but, you really don't trust God. You just really don't. That's the truth of it. So here's the question: what or who are you actually trusting in, relying on, confident in? Is it yourself? Is it pretty much yourself? Maybe you grew up thinking, I'm the only one I can rely on, really. Everybody else lets me down. I'm just going to rely on myself. Is that what it is? Is it your own understanding of things? Maybe it's your intellect, your ability to understand certain things in a certain way. Is it the government, the CDC, whatever they say? Is it what your 5 best friends think? Where are you fixing your thoughts? What are you trusting in? Now, of course, as you've heard me say, I don't know, maybe 3 zillion times, the best way to fix your thoughts on God and who he is this, right? Because that's really the purpose of the scripture. It reveals God to us. It reveals who he is, what he does, how he does what he does. But another way, to take a page out of Brian Hendrick's book, another way to fix your thoughts on God is worship music. I know lots of you love to spend time with worship music, and we love that. One of the things we really miss about not being able to gather together is being able to sing together and sing those wonderful worship songs to God. And a friend reminded me of a great worship song this week, one of the most popular worship songs right now. It's called Waymaker. Do you know that song, Waymaker? I love that song. I hadn't listened to it for a while. And here's what the writer of that song says about God. Okay, if you know the lyrics, this is what he says: God, you are Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, My God, that is who you are, right? You are Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. There is incredible power in singing those words to God and letting them wash over you, because that really is who he is. He really is Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That's who he is. That's who he says he is here. And it's who he's proved himself to be over and over and over again. I'm not just talking about Bible times. I'm not just talking about other people. I'm talking about in your times, in your life, for you. So, how about if you fix your thoughts on that? Okay? All the ways God has made for you when there seemed to be no way. All the miracles God has done for you. Maybe he's doing right in this moment. The promises God has made and kept. The light that God has shown into the dark places that you've been in your life. He is your God. That is who he is. He's not just God in some general, detached, distant sense, or he's not just God for somebody else, maybe the good people. He's your God. He's your God. So, the other interesting thing about this verse, Isaiah doesn't just say, fix your eyes on God. He says, fix your thoughts. Man, that's really significant, because very often, if we can't see it, if we really can't fix our eyes on it, we don't believe it, right? We don't think it can be true if we can't see it. And so, other words, I guess it's the bridge in Waymaker is this: even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop. You never stop working. Listen, God is always at work around you. He is. Whether you can see it or not, whether it feels like it or not, he's working. In fact, you may not know this. Jesus himself said, in the Gospel of John, Jesus himself said this: my Father is always working, and so am I. So you don't have to take my word for it. Okay. But you do have to decide if Jesus was telling the truth, if Jesus knew what he was talking about. Do you think that Jesus knew what he was talking about when he said, my Father is always working, and so am I? He never stops working. This is the truth. This is truth with a capital T, okay? Are you looking for peace today? Try fixing your thoughts on that today. One of the great promises of our Waymaker, our miracle worker, our promise keeper God. You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you. Isaiah 26:3. Fix your thoughts on that today and see if that doesn't change things for you. So thanks for joining us for another edition of the Weekday Word. We'll be back on Friday, 12:05, Facebook Live. In the meantime, let me just encourage us all. Be careful where you fix your thoughts. Hey guys, have a great day. It's a beautiful one out there, so enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.